country music capital of America, Nashville, Tennessee. For the next 30 minutes, we'll meet the stars of country music. Get the inside story from Music City, USA. Now, here's a host of Wraparound, Walt Adams.
Hello again, everyone. This week on Wraparound, we'll take you behind the scenes at a special TV taping. You'll see a movie in the making, and you'll meet a talented Texas balladeer. It's all coming your way from Music City right after this. For almost a year, the Nashville Network and Warner Brothers Records have been planning a television musical special to help celebrate the Nashville Network's 3rd anniversary. About a week ago, the plans took on tangible form on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry House. What we're going to show you in the next few minutes is 2 days of work by about 100 people involved in the production of Hank Williams Jr. and Friends. Set building began more than 2 weeks before the taping of Hank Jr. and Friends. The TNN scene builders, using plans drawn by network art director Jim Stanley, measured and cut and hammered and glued and painted right up to the morning of the taping, getting ready for the big night. Almost magically, the plywood and nails and paint and light bulbs and wire become risers on which the musicians will work, and a grillwork backdrop that will become the glittery scenery that sets the stage for the special performances. But the pieces are of no value in a carpentry shop. So on the morning of the taping, the set is transported about a city block to the Opry stage, where the pieces are assembled in the order dictated by Jim Stanley's floor plans.
This goes right beside that one. This edge lays right beside that edge right there. Just walk up stage and around.
The stage becomes a beehive of activity as a swarm of over 50 production people and stagehands put the finishing touches on the plan. Before rehearsals start at 3 p.m., over 4,000 lights are installed, tested, and prepared for use. There are lights everywhere, in front of the set, behind it, beside it, overhead, and on the set itself. Color lighting will be an important part of Hank Jr. and Friends, so light placement is critical. Last-minute conferences are almost continuous, right up to showtime. While the set is going up on stage, the control room crew is getting down to their final preparations, too. Producer Bill Turner is joined by lighting, staging, audio, production, and music directors to go through the script for the show, minute by minute.
3:30, hopefully we'll be through with the Foresters by 3, and we can move in what we need of Hank stuff. We start with him at 3:30. He has 5 numbers to do.
After an hour of solving last-minute problems and getting needed answers to a bevy of questions, the meeting breaks up. Only an hour to go before rehearsals for the 60-minute musical montage, which will feature, in addition to Hank Williams Jr., the Forrester sisters, Randy Travis, and Pam Tillis, all members of the Warner Brothers stable of singers. So far, things are relaxed and easy. In fact, the Forrester sisters' band members are in the parking lot playing ball. Meanwhile, the Forrester sisters themselves are in makeup. They're in the middle of a very busy week. They played a concert date the night before, and they finished up their new album just the night before that. Taping the special was almost a breather for them.
You know, they have to be very, very gentle, but yet very firm, and so it works
hard to get 4 people to agree on something.
much less 4 women.
For Randy Travis, the TV special is something very special. It's the first time he's appeared on a television show of this magnitude.
This type of a show, yeah, I've never done a show quite like this before. Quite an honor to be on here, you know, with Hank Jr. too, and the Forrester sisters and Pam Tillis. I'm really excited about it.
Have you been rehearsal nervous at all?
Well, not during rehearsal. I'll get nervous just about 2 or 3 minutes before going on tonight.
With just minutes to go before rehearsal starts, there's still some last-minute testing and tuning and arranging to be done.
Back to the original key for the turnaround.
In the control room, a cast of 8 is ready to rehearse its part in the upcoming production, too. Contact with the other elements of the production team finds everybody ready to go. Audio operators have mixed the sounds from a dozen instruments, the backup singers and lead singer to their satisfaction. Cameramen are at their post ready to provide the pictures the director needs. And on stage, stage managers have assembled the singers and musicians needed for the first run-throughs of the day. A Randy Travis song.
There was a time when she was mine in 1982. Losing my mind, going back in time to 1982.
Keep doing everything just right. You're the reason my heart keeps beating. Every morning it keeps repeating. I fell in love again last night. In love again last night. I fell in love again last
The 3 hours of rehearsal came to a smooth conclusion with an hour and a half of fun with the Bama Band and their head honcho, old Bocephus himself, Hank Williams Jr. He set the mood for the rest of the night with a let's have fun approach to the taping, a mood his whole crew shared.
It's not in there.
We're here with Kirk Marks, Organic Director of the Hank Williams Jr. Enterprises. Kirk, what do you...
Really like. Really like it. I like them all. Short and tall. Get them all.
There was a reason for the rowdiest of the rowdy friends being in such good humor. This TV special was special to him, too.
This one is, let me put it that way. This one is because it's my deal and my band, and we get to do 4 or 5 songs. And, you know, the things in LA or New York or whatever, it can take a while. You know, you wait and you wait and you wait. And right here in Nashville, you wait. But when you're out there, at least you're bringing people on, taking them off. It's really better than sitting around, and especially when the band's there with you too.
To see how all the elements came together and how everyone performed, you're going to have to wait until Wednesday, April 16th. That's when the curtain goes up on the Nashville Network's 3rd anniversary special, Hank Williams Jr. and Friends. Every 30 years or so, Hollywood rediscovers the classic American Western, Stagecoach. It's being revived again this year, and Greg Crutcher can take us on a ride on Stagecoach 1986.
Marker. And action!
The Highwaymen joined together in Tucson, Arizona for another project, filming a made-for-TV movie, Stagecoach.
Well, the original idea started with Waylon Jennings, that we were looking for a project for Waylon. And then Waylon, when we found this project, says, why don't we get some more of our friends in this, Johnny, Kris, and Willie. And we said, fine, that makes it even stronger and better. So that's kind of how the idea came about.
I work better with this.
When I saw Waylon Jennings, who really floored me, this is the first time he's ever done anything like this as far as I know. He may have done 1 or 2, you know, B-type westerns or something somewhere before, but he really amazed me and everybody with his acting.
The set of Stagecoach provided a backdrop for combining the talents of 4 longtime friends away from their usual musical medium and into the arena of film.
All these guys are close friends of mine, so whenever we're around each other, it's not hard for us to act and play off of each other and talk. So doing a movie with them is just a double thrill for me, because I get to be around them and I get to watch them perform, not only singing, but I get to watch them act.
Although none of these talented men are strangers to the camera, it's their united effort that creates an on-screen magic.
Well, that's the incredible thing. I mean, these people have known and loved each other for 20 years. They write music together. They already have a bonding and a history that goes way, way back. And it shows in the work. I mean, all they have to do is look at each other on film, and you can see the years of history and friendship and love that go into it. So to get these 4 together is just, I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Willie Nelson, along with Raymond Katz, are co-executive producers on the picture, while Nelson also portrays Doc Holliday and acts as musical director for the film. While wearing so many hats, a performer must have to adapt to the differences in the various roles.
Well, I don't notice any difference, really. I'm not contributing a lot on the executive level, I'm sure, so I'm just trying to remember my lines, really.
The original 1939 production of Stagecoach catapulted John Wayne to stardom, but 1966 saw a second version of the film classic starring Anne Margaret, Van Heflin, and Bing Crosby. Crosby's daughter, Mary, joins this cast as the sweet, genteel Lucy Mallory. She notes similarities between Nelson and her late great father.
Willie has something that my father had, which I greatly admire, which is a quietness and a simplicity and an honesty that I think as actors we all work for.
Naturally, comparisons between the classic 1939 Stagecoach with John Wayne and the 1986 version will arise, but co-producer Jack Thompson doesn't feel the comparisons are valid.
It's an adaptation of the original short story written in the 30s called Stagecoach to Lordsburg, and we're doing an adaptation for television of that story, not a remake of the 1939 movie.
Highwaymen and country music fans alike will enjoy watching Waylon, Willie, Kris, and Cash come to life as legends of the Old West in the made-for-TV movie Stagecoach.
I think that what we're doing is very special, and that's why we call it an adaptation and not a copy of the original classic. And we think what we're doing is going to be a classic in itself.
Veteran movie and television actor Tony Franciosa plays the crooked banker in Stagecoach. He finds the chemistry between these country greats a major asset to this film.
It's fascinating for me to watch how 4 grown men have still very, very firmly entrenched in their roots and have not let go. And so it's very much a part of their personalities, their roots. And because, I guess, it's very Americana, and it fits into this kind of movie beautifully.
What also fits into this movie beautifully is the music. The role of musical director falls on the shoulders of Willie Nelson. With the wealth of musical talent around the set, Nelson said he'd be foolish not to enlist the aid of his old friends on the scoring of Stagecoach.
There's so many good writers involved. Kristofferson is writing some things, and so is Waylon, Jennings, and Johnny Cash is John Schneider, myself, David Allen Coe. We're all contributing to it, so music-wise, it should be real good.
We're all to write a verse and a chorus from our character's point of view, whether it's about this particular story, about life in general. Mine is called 16 Years of Riding Hard for Nothing.
A suitable title for a song by John Schneider's character, Buck, the underpaid, overworked stagecoach driver. Johnny Cash, another contributing creative force, plays Marshal Curly Wilcox, stagecoach protector and defender. Cash tries to come up with elements for a song with Curly's view of life.
One big element in our lives is dust. Dust and the sun and the dry air, the cactus, the prairie, the desert. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. You keep talking, ask me questions, I might get an idea for a song, though.
The idea may not be formed as of yet, but the creative wheels are in motion. When all of these musical giants join their talents, the soundtrack for Stagecoach might very well rival the film for attention.
Something very good musically has come out of this, at least for me, in my opinion. So I'm excited.
From out of the Texas plains straight to Nashville, by way of Rounder Records, to TNN's New Country, comes one of the sweetest songbirds you'll ever hear. Roxane Russell profiles Nancy Griffith.
And here's to the ladies you love and you don't see again. Tonight is warm whiskey in the morning's cold bitter wind.
When you think of folk music, you usually think of the 1960s. But the quiet, creative sound of folk music is enjoying a resurgence in popularity. That's evident by the sound of Nancy Griffith, a willowy brunette from Austin, Texas, whose vocal style is an ear-pleasing blend of folk music, country, and even bluegrass.
Thank you kindly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more New Country.
With last year's taping of Austin City Limits and the recent taping of TNN's New Country, Nancy won the hearts of a strong country contingent. Still, the label of folk singer continues to precede her. Does Nancy mind that label?
No, I don't mind being called a folk singer at all. I've been playing in bars and honky-tonks since I was 14 years old, and sometimes I'm out with my band on the road, and sometimes I'm out with just one or two sidemen, and we play for audiences that are folks, and I write songs about regular, ordinary folks, and so I don't mind being called a folk singer at all.
Nancy doesn't mind the recent airplay she's received on country radio, although she has to admit it was a bit unexpected.
Well, that's been a real surprise. My music has always had its roots in country, just because of coming from Texas and growing up listening to not only Woody Guthrie and Carolyn Hester, but also listening to Hank Williams. And so I think that there's a very fine line between folk music and country in some areas.
He sang, dance a little closer to me, dance a little closer now, dance a little closer tonight, dance a little closer to me, 'cause it's closing time and love's on the sail tonight with this fine line. All right, Lord.
Nancy's new album, Last of the True Believers, afforded her the opportunity to work with some stalwart countryside men.
Working with these giant name people, Lloyd Green, who is just one of my heroes, from Don Williams is just one of my favorites, and getting to play with Lloyd Green, who has, of course, played with Don Williams for so many years, and what a marvelous experience.
Had he traveled with the barroom bands till arthritis took his hands? Now he sells insurance on the side.
The Last of the True Believers will be released in April on Philo Rounder Records. Most of the material on the new LP is original material written by Nancy. Ask Nancy her inspiration for writing her songs, and she readily replies,
People. Just people. I guess I'm an observer of life and people, and I find everyday things so interesting, and it's like you have a file cabinet in your head, and you collect things and just find them so special, and they all become songs at some point.
Where are all the dreams that I used to know? We used to linger beneath street lamps with our halos in smoke. Then the wing and the wheel came down, carry them away. Now they all live out in the suburbs, where their dreams are in their children.
started going to listen to music when I was 8 and 9 years old. My parents would take me, and my folks were big fans of Michael Murphy and Carolyn Hester. And Carolyn was from Austin, where I'm from, and so we would go and listen to music, and that's just what I've always wanted to do, is play and write music.
Pale sky in the east, all the stars are in the west. Oh, and here's to all the dreamers, may your open eyes find rest. 'Cause we and we'll carry us along, and we'll have memories for company long after the song goes.
For a sampling of Nancy Griffith's album Last of the True Believers, tune in to New Country, March 25th on the Nashville Network. With her powerful, clear voice and her ability to tell a story with her songs, Last of the True Believers won't be the last you'll be hearing about Nancy Griffith.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, that's all our time for this week. Next Sunday here on Wraparound, a conversation with the star of Hank Williams Jr. and Friends, old Bo Cephas himself.
My next big hunting trip is about 4 months from right now to a place called Zambia, Lusaka, Zambia, which is real different than going rabbit hunting in Murfreesboro. This will be my 7th safari to Africa, and I get real serious on that stuff. I love to, it's like going back in time, several thousand years when you go over there, but it's a great feeling. It's a great place. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, and maybe if I live long enough, they can say, "You mean you actually went to Africa?" You know, and maybe I'll be another Robert Ruark or Hemingway or something if my voice quits.
In the meantime, we'd like to hear from you. Write us at Wraparound Nashville, 2806 Opryland Drive, Nashville 37214. And until next Sunday, Walt Adams, so long from Music City and Wraparound Nashville.